Is that how Jeff Flake would run if he was running again?
Right. He's not one of those crazy Republicans. Wow. Why would you think that was not going to get out?
Well, you know what it shows. Shows what their polls are showing. A significant portion of independents believe.
Yeah, right.
Believe that that they need to disassociate themselves from crazy Democrats because it's some of the undecided voters out there that believe some of the Democrats, mainstream Democrats, are crazy. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing the ad.
It's like she called, Joe Manchin or Tim Ryan. Hey, you guys got any ideas on an ad? Oh, yeah. We've already got it written for you. We'll send it across right now.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.
Be a part of the conversation by calling the Shell Rotella hotline at 866-907-3339. Red Eye Radio and Shell Rotella. What matters is inside.
There's never a bad time to get your tough back, which is why now is a good time to take a look at the Western Star 4900. With a lasting heritage of toughness, the 4900 is built to deliver years of flawless performance with durable components, hand-built construction, and a spacious, quiet cab. Plus, with the availability of the industry's only 16-liter engine, the Detroit DD16, getting your tough back in a 4900 also means plenty of power and efficiency. Find your dealer at westernstar.com.
Attention owner-operators. Are you tired of chasing empty promises? RSVP is looking for you to join their team, offering $1.75 per mile for solo drivers or $2 per mile for teams. RSVP pays all miles. Deadhead and backhaul are not in their vocabulary. There are no trailer rentals needed and no hidden secrets. Call RSVP today at 888-RSVP-365. That's 888-RSVP-365. Or apply online at rsvpint.com. That's rsvpint.com.
This summer, take your music with you anywhere you go, from the job site to the campsite, with a tough-tested job site rugged wireless speaker available exclusively for a limited time at all Sam's Club locations. Great sound, rugged, and waterproof. The job site speaker even has a built-in flashlight and power bank to keep your phone charged on the go. Keep the music playing this summer with the job site Bluetooth speaker from Tough Tested, available at all Sam's Club locations. Tough Tested. Ask for it by name. Hey, if you're driving right now and you'd like to read the informative and entertaining content found in the current September-October issue of Road King magazine, or if you'd like to listen, that's right, I said listen, as a voice easier on the ears than mine reads the stories to you, well, listen up. For starters, the print edition preferred by 90% of OTR drivers is now available for free, as in FREE at any TA Petro location nationwide. And if you're not fueling at a TA Petro location today, well, you're in luck. You can simply go to roadking.com on your tablet or laptop to read a page-turning version. Would you prefer to read Road King on your smartphone? Well, a scroll-down version is also available at roadking.com. Simply click on View Digital Version or Current Issue. To listen on your smartphone or Bluetooth-connected headset or speakers, just activate by clicking on the speaker icon for any story, and voila, just start listening. roadking.com.
Hey drivers, this is Gary Rayburn of Lonesome Road Volume 1, and now Lonesome Road Volume 2 is just out, and we would love to send you a copy. Give us a call at 618-383-2107. Log on to our website, lonesomeroad.org. Mention that you heard this ad on Red Eye Radio, and we'll send you a copy of Volume 2 for only $10. And if you didn't get Volume 1, we'll give you a special deal if you order Volume 1 and 2. Give us a call.
News, talk, evolve. KABC, Los Angeles, Orange County, a Cumulus station.
Talk Radio 790, KABC News, live and local at 11 o'clock. I'm Joe Myers. After a series of packages with explosives were sent to several high-profile Democrats and CNN today, the FBI is investigating the incidents as domestic terrorism. Correspondent Karen Kafa reports authorities are warning there may be more devices.
A law enforcement official says that all of the devices appear to be constructed similarly. The FBI is asking the public to stay alert, and the governor of New York has upped security at key infrastructure points.
We don't know what the ongoing threat is right now. We don't know that there won't be more of these devices that are showing up. Our point with the deployment is we want to make sure the terrorist act doesn't succeed.
In New York, I'm Karen Kafa.
President Trump pointed the finger at his opponents and the news media tonight for the turbulent national political environment. Correspondent Caitlin Collins has more on the president's approach.
Inside the White House, they are really trying to separate the president from anything to do with these attacks. We've seen that multiple times. We've had multiple calls from White House officials saying the president has nothing to do with this. His rhetoric has nothing to do with this. They are trying to put as much distance between that as they can.
And L.A. Mayor Eric Garcetti weighed in on today's bomb threats. KABC's James Rojas has more.
Mayor Eric Garcetti says we're living in a toxic environment politically.
You have a president who rallies people like Bloodsport for going after a journalist physically. We have people retweeting conspiracy theories.
He believes Trump bears some responsibility for this type of violence, but acknowledges threats are made on all ends of the political spectrum.
This is the violence of this moment politically.
James Rojas, KABC News.
KABC News time is 11:02 with dependable traffic when you need it most.
New problem in the Mid-City. It's a 4-car wreck on the Santa Monica Freeway. Eastbound 10 at Arlington Avenue, the left lane of traffic is taken away, and that's backing you up from Washington Boulevard. And in West Covina, westbound 10 at Kellogg Drive, we have a fender bender in the right lane. It's slowing you down from Fairplex. And then there's a work zone, westbound 10 between Vincent Avenue and Puente. 2 right lanes are closed, and so you're going to see some backup there as well. Also, southbound Golden State Freeway in Castaic at Lake Hughes Road, it's a SIG alert. Cleaning up after a big rig fire. The 2 right lanes are blocked. It's not causing a lot of backup, but there's some looky-loose slowing on the northbound side from Magic Mountain Parkway. Also, Antelope Valley Freeway pretty slow right now between Agua Dulce Canyon Road and Soledad Canyon Road. This is because Caltrans crews have got the carpool and left lanes closed, so they're going to be closed until about 4 a.m. Also, 210 East at Rosemead Boulevard, there's a vehicle broken down. It's on the off-ramp. And 710 southbound at Firestone, 2 right lanes of traffic closed. KABC has dependable traffic when you need it most. I'm Cindy Berkey, Talk Radio 790, KABC.
Behind the Mic, furnished by Dalius Media.
Welcome on inside. Behind the Mic is live on this Wednesday evening, October 24th, 2018. Brad Dalius along with Keith Jackson coming to you on Talk Radio 790 KABC. As always, we want to hear from you tonight at 1-800-222-5222. Call in at 1-800-222-5222. Follow us across social media. It's at BTM with Brad. On Instagram is our link in the bio for our live online stream. So much to get to tonight. World Series Game 2 recap is on tap here in just a second. Dodgers fall again to the Red Sox. A little bit more competitive tonight, 4-2. But nonetheless, in the big spot tonight, the Dodgers either came up short offensively or were just not at their best when they needed it pitching-wise today. We'll get into it, like I said, in just a second. UCLA talk coming up. Joe Pachowski, Wednesdays with Joe. He's the managing editor, of course, at BruinsNation.com. We'll catch up with Joe and talk about the Bruins, who've got a little win streak going on now. I know, kind of hard to believe, right? We'll get into it. Plus, the Lakers get their first victory of the season. We thought maybe they would get more of a stiffer test from Phoenix, the way that the guys have been playing down there, especially DeAndre Ayton so far has played not too bad for the first couple of games of the season in his rookie campaign. So we can talk about the Lakers later on as well. But obviously the biggest story of the night is the Dodgers, boys in blue, once again dropping another game to Boston. And like we talked about last night, it's a Red Sox team that can just keep coming at you offensively. They really just don't burn out. And like we said last night, the one guy you have to keep off base, especially at the beginning of the innings, is Mookie Betts. And once again tonight, he got on base. He was very dangerous, and he continues to show everybody why he is going to be the American League MVP this year. So big game from him tonight. And just all around here, this game was really decided in the fifth inning tonight. That's what it came down to. Yeah. And just killer, once again, all with 2 outs. They scored the 3 runs. It was a very winnable game, I thought, up to that point, and even after that. But really, that seemed to really do in the Dodgers, because it's incredible how they were retired 16 consecutive batters to end this game, Keith. And that's probably the most alarming thing. They just went ice cold and can't do it. You can't do it in most series, but especially in this series with how deep that lineup is.
Yeah, Ryan Madson hasn't had a great series at all, and
he really hasn't had a good postseason.
Yeah, at all. And I don't understand the reason why they even brought him in, but and that came on him on the 5th inning. Now I'm not blaming the whole game on him, but I mean, the manager Robert's got to do a better job of managing those guys, and I think he's been doing a great job all the way up until now. And I don't know what he's doing. I feel like sometimes you're trying to reinvent the wheel, and there's no need to do that. Knowing your personnel and just knowing who can do what. And if you know a guy who hasn't had a great postseason, you don't put him in there on the biggest stage of baseball. And so I didn't agree with the move. He got in, and look, if you look at the last 2 games right now, all those hits have really been on him. The last 5 runs, they had 2. He had 2 of them last night, and he had 3 runs on them again tonight. Which really was a deciding factor of the whole game. And then you look at what I also didn't like was the ball boy coming out to the outfield when Martinez was up to give them, the outfielders, Puig and the rest of those guys, some notes on who's going to be hitting what. That was just all confusion within itself.
That was not a good look.
That was not a good look. You have a scouting report already. These guys know what they're going to do. It just throws a lot. It's called overcoaching, and you don't need that. So that's what I look at, man. Next game, I don't care about the weather or anything like that. To me, he's overcoaching in the World Series, and there's no need to. They did make some plays. Look, the one thing is what's really frustrating, and is that Dodgers are getting the ball on the bat. They are. They're making some hits. They're getting there, except for Turner was a no-show. But
he had
a really rough night. But the thing is, they can't complete anything. They're getting on base. That's not the issue. I think the issue right now is, what is crazy, Brad? The issue is what they're really known for is defense. When they brought this whole team on, it was about, we want a defensive team. Remember, we've had many people on the show, writers that told us the same thing, that, they want a defensive team. We see that. And now it's just getting exploited because it's just overcoaching. It has nothing to do with the players, but it's just, to me, it's overcoaching, and you confuse guys. You get all that stuff, scouting report and everything down behind the scenes before the game even starts. They know who's coming up. They know how many feet a certain guy is averaging, how far he can hit. They know certain guys can hit out the park. They know certain guys who hit in the field. You don't have your ball boy come out in the middle of the game and tell them, hey, this guy can hit only 387 yards, just to let you know. So let's come in a little bit. You don't do that.
Almost kind of reminds you of like a caddy that runs in quickly to make a decision for a golfer on a course. It just didn't make much sense. But my biggest beef tonight really wasn't so much with the Dodgers defense. Yasmani Grandal actually had a nice stop there towards the end of the game with another wild pitch. Outside of that, though, I didn't think defense was really a big problem tonight. Like I said, Grandal actually made a good play for the first time in a long time. But my biggest thing is why – number one, they're not getting anything in that leadoff spot from Brian Dozier. I don't know why he's being let off right now. And I get the fact that Roberts wants to go with a righty-heavy lineup here, but that's not what the analytics say. The analytics say that they had a whole bunch of guys who started this game on the bench, including Cody Bellinger, who had basically like 50 to 100 home runs combined in the postseason experience between all these guys who started the game on the bench. So my biggest thing is those guys should be in the game. I mean, same thing with Max Muncy. I don't understand why you don't continue to ride guys put him out there who give you the best chance, not necessarily because Roberts wants to do this righty-lefty thing. The analytics don't say that. You know what it reminded me, Keith? It reminded me a whole lot of Mike Scioscia with the Angels, not wanting to embrace the analytics, and that obviously is what drove him out of town. So to me, a little stubborn tonight from Roberts in that regard. And we saw that last night too. Put your biggest bats in there. And look, here's also the problem. Okay, you eventually put him in the game, you pinch hit him, you think that's going to do the trick. These guys are coming off the bench, Keith. I mean, they're cold. I mean, to be honest, they're not loose. You have guys who are warming up in the bullpen for Boston who are getting loose. They're coming to the games, and they're just rifling the ball in there, 95, 96, 100 miles an hour in some cases. You saw Evaldi towards the end of the game. He's been lights out, whether he's starting or relieving. So you know what I mean? It's these guys. Cody Bellinger, he's coming off the bench. He's not fresh. He's cold in the sense of he's not in the swing of the game. These guys are not going to be able to go up there and really come up with the big hit the way Roberts is thinking. They need to start the game. They need to be in the flow of the game. I hope when we come back now this series as it shifts to Los Angeles coming up on Friday that we see Bellinger starting in there, including Max Muncy too.
I'm going to say this. Boston, I'm not going to say it's over, but I'm going to say this. It's going to be very hard for the Dodgers to win this World Series.
Yeah, of course.
Why?
It's going to be tough.
Why?
You got to win 4 to 5 now.
What they did was they got it done. So the Red Sox got it done. They took care of home court. Now this is where home advantage starts to come into play. Before it was just okay, if the Dodgers can win a game, really there's really no home advantage. But now this is where home advantage comes into play. Why? It's because really all the Red Sox need to do, man, is just to win one game in L.A. That's it. They win one game in L.A., it's a wrap. I'll be honest with you. It's a wrap because they can go home. They got that home crowd. That's when the home advantage comes to play. That's why I said that series is shift. Dodgers, really, it's very important. Right now, they're just trying to survive. They got to go in tomorrow. You got to take it a game. They got to take it a game at a time. They go to L.A. They got to win that game, and they have to win back-to-back. It cannot be, Brad, they win the game today, and then they win the game on Friday and then lose Saturday.
Yeah,
it can't happen that way. You got to win. You literally have to win 2 games back to back. You got to take care of those 2 games, and hopefully, and what you do is if that game shifts. What you want in this case is you want to be up 3-2 going back to Boston.
Of course.
They have to.
Realistically, anyone who thinks they've got somewhat of a realistic shot knows they got to win all 3 games.
They have to.
Because they're not going to win 2 in Boston.
They can't. It's not going to happen. So they're going to definitely have to take care of those games. If they don't, it's over.
1-800-222-5222. Let's go to the phones and say hello to our good friend Solomon in Lake Balboa. Solomon, you're on Behind the Mic.
Hey.
Thoughts on tonight?
Hi, gentlemen. Yeah, I got a few, of course. Right now, as I told you the other evening, the Dodgers just looked outmatched. They just look overwhelmed from these guys. They've absolutely taken it to the Dodgers, and you are absolutely correct. If they have a stone's throw in the ocean to come back from this series and possibly win it, which would be a miracle. Maybe the Dodger in the sky is looking over them. They got to win 3 straight at home. And then you've got a shot. Because right now, you said it, Brad, when you lose the first 2 games, you have to win 4 of the next 5 games against a team like the Boston Red Sox. I did want to mention one thing about Dave Roberts, and I'm not trying to nitpick on him. The man has been an incredible manager. Gotten the Dodgers back to the World Series, which is a huge, huge accomplishment and a big task. But if this series goes down in flames for the Dodgers, I think the turning point is going to be last night when he didn't leave Baez in to complete that inning.
I agree.
And this is,
I agree. Baez was the key of the game right there. That last game, he should have left him in. You don't have a guy go in and pitch a couple pitches and then pull him out. That was just, again, like I said, overcoaching.
So far, that's the moment of the series that we can all point to, no question, in saying that's the one that cost them so far. But, yeah, I just think he's kind of outsmarting himself here to some extent. I really believe that. Like I said, I don't know why you're not starting a Cody Bellinger or Max Muncy. Max Muncy has had a Cinderella-type season. Why are you sitting him now?
Brad, you know why he doesn't do this? Because I'm telling you, man, he's a little bit too much by the books. It's that analytics is strangling him. Sometimes you have to manage. You have to do the smell test. What do your eyes tell you? You know, Baez was lights out. He was unhittable, okay? And if you want to go even stats, and Dave Roberts said in an interview afterwards, he said, no, you know, I was comfortable with Alex Wood there. Really? Let's look at the stats for Alex Wood. 3 postseason appearances, each time, first batter, home run. That's not a good stat to me. I'm not comfortable with that kind of pitcher. Are you? And you want to put him over a Pedro Baez who's been lights out? Doesn't make any sense. But again, he goes back to those analytics because the book says this and blah, blah, blah. What do your eyes tell you? It's the smell test. You have a feel of the game, and you got to manage like that a little bit. And I think Roberts, he still has a tough time with that, man.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit to definitely convince him to do otherwise. Like I said, the day off, the travel day, hopefully that's one of those things that kind of gets everybody reset coming back out here to L.A. Solomon, thanks for the call. We appreciate it.
You got it. My pleasure. Thank you.
It's Behind the Mic, live here on KABC Radio. We take a break. More after this.
Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
German? Forget it, he's rolling.
It ain't over now.
Please join us at the Orange County Register Successful Aging Expo on Saturday, October 27th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Hyatt Regency, Orange County. The day is filled with free activities and services, including health screenings, a variety of exhibitors, and bingo. Informational presentations will be held throughout the day with topics covering non-surgical pain relief options, Medicare 101, common aging conditions, advances in Alzheimer's research, heart health, breast cancer awareness, financial planning, and much more. Admission and parking are free. For more information, go to successfulagingexpo.com.
Open enrollment for health insurance is here and the deadline is only weeks away. You already know there's a healthcare crisis. Rates have exploded, insurance carriers are leaving, unexpected medical bills and deductibles are at an all-time high, and it's only getting worse. But we have great news. There have been significant changes to the healthcare law. Under the new rules, you may qualify to get better coverage, better benefits, the freedom to go to any medical provider you want, and save thousands on your healthcare starting today. Licensed advisors are standing by to take your call, but you must act now. Call us at 800-240-7010. And we'll listen to your needs, explain your options, and get you into the perfect plan. Even if you're short on time, call and let's schedule a time to speak at your convenience. Call buyhealthinsurance.com at 800-240-7010. Your family's health is our #1 priority. That number once again is 800-240-7010. Call now. 800-240-7010.
Selfless service is the guiding principle that drives Army National Guard soldiers to be always ready whenever disaster strikes. They are your next-door neighbors and your colleagues in schools, offices, and factories. To be a Guard soldier is to stand ready to serve at all times for family, for community, and for country. To learn more, log on to NationalGuard.com or contact an Army National Guard recruiter in your area.
Sponsored by the California Army National Guard. Aired by the California Broadcasters Association and this station.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
Have you tried that trendy new dating app? You can have months of frivolous fun with people who just love to play games. But if you're ready for something more grown-up, try the Match app. Over 30,000 new people a day are heading to Match for grown-up conversations that lead to great dates and beyond. Our listeners that go to Match.com can start for free today. View photos and informative profiles to get a deeper sense of the people you'd like to meet. Start for free today at Match.com. That's Match.com.
You're listening to Behind the Mic with Brad Dalius.
Wednesday here on the show, so that means we got UCLA talk coming up in just a second with Joe Pachowski, managing editor, of course, at BruinsNation.com. We'll get to him in just a moment here. We are talking Game 2 of the World Series tonight. And before the break, obviously, we were just kind of going over everything that has kind of gone wrong so far in this series for the Dodgers. And a lot has gone right for Boston. But I still don't think that this series is over. Yes, I will admit this is going to be an uphill climb, which I think we all thought from the beginning of the series, based off of the eye test from the AL and the NLCS's last round. But it's close. They were more competitive tonight, 4-2. If not for the fifth inning, this is a game that they have the lead 2-1. Who knows how things shake out? And look, I said last night, you got to figure 5-6 runs each night just to have a shot to win these type of games. They're close. I think they're getting there. And I fully expect them to come out Friday. And look, they've played well. They've been a good home postseason team here recently. I do think they're going to come out. I don't think they're going to roll over. This is a team who has a lot of grit to them. They have a lot of fight. I don't think they're going to roll over. I think they're really going to use the home field to their advantage, and I fully expect them to come out and win Friday night. It's not going to be easy, but I think they will do it.
I'll say this though, they're going to have the crowd behind them. What's interesting? They do feed off of Puig. Puig had some great hits tonight. Yep. He one thing about him, I don't know if I can put him as the leader of the team, but his energy when he gets on base kind of feeds through the whole entire bullpen. And
he's now fourth all time in Dodgers history for most hits.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. So they do feed off of him. They're going to feed off the crowd. And just a little side note, I was driving Brad on my way to I was actually driving somewhere today, and I heard over the radio they were talking about the Kobe Bryant Jimmy Kimmel interview, and Kobe said that he was going to come to one of the games. So you never know, that little bit of little Kobe-ness, Mamba mentality may be in the house on Friday night. But no, on a serious note, it's not over until Boston wins a game in L.A. If they win a game in L.A., it's over, man.
Yeah, because they're not winning 2 in Boston.
They're not going to win 2 in Boston. That's not going to happen. The Dodgers have themselves, they're back to the wall, but they've been in positions like this. This is where experience kicks in. They've been to the World Series before, and one thing about this team is they don't panic, and that's one thing I've noticed about the Dodgers. They never panic. They always feel that they're always in the game the whole time, and so just tonight's Friday's going to be another night. However, they just can't have innings where these Red Sox are scoring 3 to 4 runs in an inning. That can't happen. And you gotta jump out on them. Those first 3 innings, man, are pivotal. Boston they scored in the second inning. The Dodgers didn't wake up to the 4th inning, and from there they kind of just, that was it. They only woke up in the 4th. And you got the Red Sox working out in the 5th. You have to win innings. That's what it's about in this series, winning innings. You win innings, you win the game.
And you heard the stat tonight. The Red Sox have scored a boatload of runs this postseason with 2 outs. Again, that was the deciding factor in tonight's game. Got to cut down on it. Got to eliminate the mistakes coming up, and you got to bring the bats a whole lot more. Got it, like I said, 5-6 runs at least to have a shot to beat this Boston team. Okay, we can continue to talk World Series, but we're going to switch gears now and dive into a little UCLA Bruins discussion. 2 in a row now for the Bruins, Keith. They got a little win streak going.
Yeah.
And as we now bring in Joe Pachowski, the managing editor at BruinsNation.com. And Joe, great to have you with us as always here on Wednesdays. What is your take now? Back to back, and not too bad, right?
Well, back to back. Speaking of back to back, this World Series is over. It was over. It was over when Madsen walked home the tying run tonight. That's it. It's done. It pains me to say that because I am a certified, bona fide Red Sox hater. Not that I'm much more of a Dodger fan, but my favorite 2 teams are the Yanks and whoever's playing Red Sox. When Madsen walked home that tying run tonight, I said, that's it. This series is over. But anyway, back to Bruin football. 2 in a row. They're now technically in 3rd place in the Pac-12 South. But the only reason they're in 3rd place in the Pac-12 South is because you've got Southern Cal and the University of Utah tied 1st place in the Pac-12 South, both sitting there with 3-2 records in the conference. and so this Friday night's game against the Utah Utes coming into the Rose Bowl is huge. If the Bruins can pull off a victory on Friday night, guys, they'll actually move into a first-place tie until at least Saturday, pending the outcome of the Trojans game on Saturday. They could be sitting there all alone in first place if they win on Friday night. If USC loses on Saturday.
Joe, give me your thoughts on Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I mean, we've been hard on him a little bit on this show about how his play has been and how he's been, how he's pretty much been performing. And, Chip Kelly has stuck with him all the way through this whole situation, even with his dad coming out and saying stuff. What do you think of him right now? How has he been progressed since the beginning of the season?
It's interesting because I saw the game against UC Berkeley, but I didn't really get to watch it. But I can tell you, last week sitting at the Rose Bowl, I sat there, watched him play in the first quarter, and I thought to myself, "Hey, he's looking pretty good." Which is a complete turnaround for me because I've been saying for weeks that Chip Kelly needed to sit him down and play Wilton Speight, and so in the first quarter there on Saturday, I actually thought Dorian looked good. Interestingly, after he got hurt on Saturday night, Wilton Speight came in, and I kind of turned around and I said, it actually looks like Speight is suffering from DTR disease. He seemed to be having a little bit of a problem hitting some of his targets, overthrowing them. By the end of the game, it looked like some of that rust had just worn off, and Speight was playing a whole lot better. I think it gives the Bruins, some flexibility. They're going up against a very tough Utah defense this week, and the Utah defense has been known for knocking quarterbacks out. So I think if both Speight and Thompson-Robinson are healthy enough to go, I think having both of them healthy enough is going to be critical because they may need to play both of them on Saturday night.
Can we just stop
Friday night?
Can we just stop and pause for a second and just kind of think about how this team started at 0-5,
exactly,
and the fact now they're 2-5 and are still in the mix, like you said, they're technically in third place right now in the Pac-12 South divisional standings. I mean, really, if we just reflect back on that, it's pretty amazing, right? That they're actually considered in the mix of it right now after an 0-5 start.
And you know what? You have to look at it like this.
They're only a half game out of first place.
That's absolutely amazing.
And you have to look at it like this, guys. I mean, we're sitting here, and this is a new coach. This is a new system. And it takes years. We know NFL to college, guys, when you get brand new coaches in and new systems and new plays, new personnel, it takes time in order for that to really mold into something and work for you. So, I think to say this, kudos for Chip Kelly for sticking with his system. And these guys are now learning how to adapt to that system. From here on out, I'll just say this. Look, they figuring out how to win games. You see what happened in the last game, the first game, Cal. They beat him 37-7. The next game against Arizona, they beat him 31-30. What are you noticing? They're putting up a lot of points. He's starting to play that speed ball, which you're starting to see there. I'm even saying this, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, Joe. Caleb Wilson. I mean, here's a guy who has he's a beast, but he has adapted to this playbook, and look what he's doing now. So what do you think about him and how he had to make his adjustment in his game? Is this a really NFL top pick type of guy?
Absolutely. Caleb Wilson has been considered one of the best tight ends in the country going back to last season. And it took a while to adjust, for things to adjust for him to start getting some targets, and he's finally started to get them, and he's been making the most of them. He's an absolute beast for the Bruins. Him and Theo Howard are their two leading receivers at this point. But I think what's really gotten the passing game going has been the running game. They're running the ball to pass the ball. You're getting 35 carries a game over to Joshua Kelly, and Kelly has very quietly gone 4 games in a row with over 100 yards rushing. And you can't understate that. You can't overstate that enough, because that's really gotten the Bruins going. The Bruins have put up over 150 yards rushing in 4 straight games as well. So it's not just one guy. They're running the ball really, really well, and that's opening things up in the passing game for them to get the ball to guys like Caleb Wilson and Theo Howard, and even Joshua Kelly himself, who caught a few balls on Saturday night against Arizona. I really liked how they used him as a safety valve when everybody else was covered. You saw Wilton Spate dumping the ball into Kelly for big gains. The offense is starting to click. Now, what we really need on Friday night for a big win, we need better defense. The defense got the job done last week against the Wildcats. No doubt about that. They got the big plays when they needed them. They got that amazing forced fumble by Darnay Holmes, who I don't know how he caught the Arizona running back, but he managed to do it, and he managed to knock the ball out into the end zone where he recovered it for the touchback. They got a couple interceptions. They got one out of Quentin Lake in the end zone. They stopped the Wildcats when they needed to stop the Wildcats.
That's what it's about.
Can't be. That's exactly what it's about. This was one of those games where in the past I would think that where UCLA would have snatched the jaws of defeat from the hands of victory.
We've seen it too many times.
Exactly. We've seen it way, way too many times during the Jim Mora era. And somehow, some way, these guys managed to pull together, and even on that final drive, they ran a 6.5 minute drive to run out the clock for the final drive after they held Arizona to a field goal.
It's been impressive, no doubt.
It was impressive. I mean, how can you complain about that?
You really can't at this point. Like I said, them
really
starting 0-5 to where they are now
Absolutely.
is impressive. Hold that thought, Joe. We're going to take a break.
Absolutely.
We'll come back. More Joe Pachowski, more UCLA talk. It's Behind the Mic, live on KABC Radio.
Talk Radio 790 KABC News, live and local at 11:33. I'm Joe Myers. In light of today's bomb threats against high-profile Democrats and CNN, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo suggests the U.S. faces a new type of threat.
This is political terrorism. This is American terrorism. This is red versus blue terrorism. And that we have never seen before.
And closer to home, hazmat teams declared several suspicious envelopes safe today after they were sent to L.A. Times headquarters in El Segundo. Times security called police about 11:15 a.m. after an employee noticed the bundle of envelopes, which all listed the Times as the return address, though they had not been mailed from there. Authorities say there was no threat of a bomb and the building was not evacuated. KABC News Time is 11:33 with dependable traffic when you need it most.
Freeway speed's overall good, but we've got several problems in the Mid-City. We'll start with this 4-car crash on the Santa Monica Freeway, eastbound 10 at Arlington. It's got the left lane blocked, so you're going to be slow and go there from Washington. And a SIG alert now for Tustin, the 55 southbound at 17th. 3 right lanes of traffic blocked. Somebody overturned there. So traffic stop and go from Chapman Avenue. In West Covina, broken down pickup truck, eastbound 10 at Citrus. The vehicle broke down in the right lane of traffic. And freeway speeds there not too bad, but watch as you approach. Also on the southbound Golden State Freeway at Lake Hughes Road, we have a SIG alert there. 2 right lanes are blocked. There was a big rig fire, so crews are working on the cleanup job there. And traffic is not too backed up, but on the northbound side of the freeway, northbound 5, between Calgrove and Valencia Boulevard, 2 right lanes are closed, and you're going to stay slow ahead from Rye Canyon to Templin Highway, possible looky-loo traffic. KABC has dependable traffic when you need it most. I'm Cindy Berkey, Talk Radio 790, KABC.
Hi, this is Peter Tilden. I have been promoting Nature's Healthy Trinity probiotics on the radio for over a decade. They changed my life. My wife feels unbelievably better and more active. So do many of my listeners. And they could do the same for you. But don't trust me. Listen to Dr. Zuri Morel, who happens to be a colorectal surgeon from Beverly Hills, California. Dr. Z?
I have researched and tested many different probiotics and believe Natron's Healthy Trinity is the best. I use it, and so does my family. I also recommend Natron probiotics to my patients and friends for a healthy gut. It can be uncomfortable to have gas, bloating, indigestion, loose stools, or constipation. Natron probiotics can help keep you regular and promote colon health like no other probiotics. Natron's potency is guaranteed for each strain with continuous refrigeration and second-day cold delivery to your door.
You said it, doctor. Others promise. Natron delivers. Except no substitute. Go to natron.com or the probiotic cooler section at Whole Foods, Sprouts, or your favorite health food store.
The Online Trading Academy is the leader in investing education, and they can help you generate income for today or your retirement. Attend one of their free 3-hour classes, and they'll send you home with a do-it-yourself investor's kit preloaded with some of their most popular video-based investing courses. It's a thank you just for attending. Classes are all over Southern California, the West Side, San Fernando Valley, Orange County. They'll teach you how to trade just like the pros, learn how to create daily, weekly, or monthly income using Online Trading Academy's patented supply and demand strategy. All you have to do is give them a call. 888-991-TRADE. That's 888-991-8723 to attend and get 2 free passes to their 3-hour class so you can check everything out for yourself. And if you call right now, they'll send you home with their do-it-yourself investor's kit just for attending. It's loaded with exclusive investing courses and some of their best lessons from the pros. It's a limited time opportunity and seats go fast, so call right now. 888-991-TRADE, 888-991-TRADE, or visit them online at otaclass.com.
This is Behind the Mic with Brad Dalius.
I got a condo in Manhattan. Baby girl, what's happening? You and your ass invited. So gonna get to clapping. Go pop it for a plan. Pop it for me. Turn around and drop it for a plan. Drop it for me. I'll rent a beach house in Miami.
Bruno Mars is actually killing it tonight over at Staples Center.
I know.
The folks are over there tonight, Keith, as I was telling you off the air. Definitely enjoying a good show, no doubt. We're talking UCLA football here with Joe Pachowski, as we always do on Wednesdays, managing editor at BruinsNation.com, as we bring back in Joe now and look ahead to this game against Utah. Look, we know at this point the Utes are a thorn in everyone's side in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Very hard to beat. We've seen that with USC,
Absolutely.
A bunch of other teams as well. Talk to us about what the Bruins need to do this week defensively. Kind of got into it a little bit before the break, but kind of containing the Utah rushing attack.
Absolutely, they've got to stop Zach Moss from running the ball. They've got to stop Utah's quarterback Tyler Huntley from running the ball. UCLA did not have a good game with their rush defense last week. They gave up the most rushing yards they have all season, and if they want to win on Friday night, they've got to contain the Utah rushing game.
Joe, who is the guy on UCLA? Who's the X factor in this game coming up? Who's going to be the X factor for UCLA in order for them to be successful and beat Utah?
Well, I really think it's going to come down to the play of the defensive line. If the defensive line can stop the run, then they'll be successful. Hopefully, somebody on the defensive line steps up and gets that job done. I'd like to personally. My favorite guy on the defensive line is a freshman by the name of Antonio Mayfi. This guy he's huge. He's almost 400 pounds, but he's very athletic. He's one of the nose tackles. I think he's got the opportunity to come up big. That would be my choice. If you said who do I want to be that run stopper this week, he's my guy.
Are they hoping that some of these guys can eventually develop into pass rushers? Because I don't think they're content at this point with the pass rush, right? It's somewhat of a work in progress.
Yeah, the pass rush is definitely a work in progress. That hasn't been helped very much by injury. I mean, they did lose Jalen Phillips, one of their outside linebackers, for the season. They lost him to a concussion a few weeks ago, so he's out the year. He was probably one of their best pass rushers. In terms of a pass rush, I'd like to see defensive lineman Rick Wade step it up. Rick has played well most of the season. He played real well against Cincinnati. If he can step it up and get some pressure on the quarterback, as long as they contain him, I think that'll pay off big.
You know where UCLA, I'm just looking at something here on their schedule, but you know what, when UCLA start to get it going, it was that Washington game. If you look at it,
coming off of that Fresno State loss.
Yeah, they played Washington. They lost to them 31-24. Then they beat Cal. Then they turned around and they beat Arizona. And that's really where that big turnaround was. Even though they lost to Washington, and that's like, I think now what you're starting to see, and correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but they're starting to peak because now, and they're doing it at the right time, because when you look at it, they got Utah, who's ranked 23, but then they go into Oregon, who lost the other day, and then you got Arizona State, USC, and then Stanford. Those are really the meat of your schedule, and probably the toughest part of their schedule is now the back end, and now they're starting to peak.
I think right now, I think the team is serious when they say that their focus is strictly on Utah. Chip Kelly said the other day that they don't have time to look back and really enjoy their last two wins, because if they take time to enjoy their last two wins, then they're going to get crushed by Utah. And so I think he really has them laser focused on their next opponent each week. And I think what's happened ever since that Fresno State game, first they played Colorado, then they played Washington, then they played UC Berkeley, and they managed to get a little bit closer each week. They played pretty well against Colorado. They played even better against Washington, even though they came up short. And then they got the win 2 weeks ago against Berkeley. And last week they kind of took a step back. Like I say, with the defense gave up a lot of rushing yards last week. The passing game really wasn't, defending the pass wasn't there. They came up with some big plays though when they needed it, and that kind of got them across the finish line. I think they're going to have to play a better game overall defensively, and I think they're going to need to get some plays, make some plays here and there when they need them in order to come out with a win on Friday night. And if they do, I think they're serious contenders for the Pac-12 South title.
Speaking of Friday night, obviously that's when this game is going to officially kick off. A lot of people have not been a big fan of Friday night games. It doesn't matter if it's East Coast, West Coast, the South. They're just not fans of it. And I'm curious to kind of get the sense of what this team's approach to it is. It's a short week, obviously, but to play on Friday night, do the players, the coaches, are they liking it, or is it more so just kind of a pain and they'd rather just play on Saturday?
I think Chip Kelly likes to focus on the things he can control. He doesn't control the schedule. He plays when the Pac-12 say they play. They're doing what they have to do to monitor the players and make sure that the players have the rest and recovery time that they need. And Utah's playing on short week too. They played Saturday too, so it's not that one team's got an advantage over the other. With an extra day of rest in between their games, it's one of those things where the Pac-12 says, "Hey, you guys are playing on Friday night." I think, personally, I'd much rather play this game on a Saturday because getting to Pasadena on a Friday night, not exactly the easiest thing to do in rush hour traffic.
Especially with all these games going on this week. You got the World Series is going to go on. You got the Kings are going to be playing.
Oh, that's a great point, Keith.
You got UCLA playing, and the Lakers are going to be playing. I think the Lakers play that week, or the Clippers. The Clippers play that week as well. It's going to be bananas out here. But Joe, I got to ask you this just before we go to break. Give me your prediction on this game. Who wins this game?
I think it's going to be close, and I think the Bruins are going to pull this one out too.
Ooh, 3 in a row.
3 in a row, huh?
I like it.
What's the score, Joe? What's the score? Give me a score.
Oh, now you're asking the tough question.
Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe.
See, we knew you were going to pick UCLA. That was an easy one.
That was an easy one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
and why that score?
I think they'll get to 30 points again. They've managed to do that now a couple weeks in a row. Maybe 35-31, maybe even closer than that. Okay. It's something where they, the history of the series against Utah has been a history of close games. It could be less than a field goal. It could be 31-28. Something like that, where it could come down to the last possession. That's happened a bunch of times against the Utes. Kyle Whittingham's team is a very well coached team, and there's no doubt that he's going to have the Utes ready to play. But I think Chip Kelly's got his guys, starting to believe now that, hey, you know what, we got to, we're 0-5. They weren't nearly as bad as it sounded when they were 0-5, and they're probably not quite as Are they ready for first place in the Pac-12 South? I don't know. Maybe not. But I can tell you this: if Colorado if they can win Friday and Colorado loses one more game in the Pac-12, the Bruins will control their own destiny. So they've got to turn around and beat ASU. They've got to beat Stanford, and of course they've got to beat Southern Cal if they want to advance to the championship game. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I just think that they have to dig deep and do what they have to do to make the plays that they need to make in order to win on Friday night.
Joe Pachowski, managing editor at BruinsNation.com. Follow him on Twitter at @JPachowski. Joe, always great to chat with you. Go UCLA. We hope for 3 in a row this weekend. We shall see.
Go Bruins.
Joe said they're going to do it.
Good stuff. We'll talk to you next week, Joe. Thanks so much.
All right, sounds great, guys.
Take care, Joe.
A quick break, and we're back after this.
Hello, I'm John Okoyan, owner of Rooter Hero Plumbing. We can clean that drain for only $77. Call us at 866-DRAIN-77 or find us at rooterhero.com.
Everybody needs a hero. RooterHero.com.
CL 102-8886.
How would you like to legally turn your garage into a great apartment that you could rent out for money each month, turning your dust into dollars? Curious? Call 833-4-DREAM-LIFE now and tune in to Live in the Dream with Sandy Dunkley every Saturday evening at 7 p.m. on KABC.
Hi, it's Alan Gervey.
And I'm Carrie Kasem.
Need some legal, moral, or just common sense advice?
Then tune in to Gervey's Law Saturdays at 2 when we open up the discussion and tackle difficult issues in law and life.
That's right. You've heard of Murphy's Law, but have you heard of Gervey's Law? Gervey's Law is that anything that can go wrong can also go right. And we go at it with some of the greatest legal minds in the country.
It's the intersection of law and life. Don't miss it Saturdays at 2 right here on Talk Radio 790 KABC.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458, 800-481-1458, or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too.
The boys from Ammo Brothers, California's largest gun store, are at it again. This one is huge. Firearms are, get this, up to 80% off MSRP at the Cerritos store only. These are floor models, discontinued models, scratch and dents. If you've had your eye on a firearm, looks like a trip to Cerritos is a must this Friday through Sunday. Over 400 guns on clearance, price to move. Look for more deals throughout the store at all Ammo Brothers locations. Ammo Brothers, Cerritos, Ontario, Riverside, Santa Ana, San Diego, and Paris. For more information, go to ammobros.com.
You're listening to Behind the Mic with Brad Dalius.
You gotta lay down and down, go down. I will survive. Come on, as long as I know how to love, I'm gonna stay alive. And I got all my life to live, and I got all my love to give, and I'll survive. I will survive.
I know where that's from. That's Mike. I appreciate you playing that. That's from The Replacement Players, the movie Replacement. the replacement players.
Okay.
And with I think was that Keanu Reeves played that. He was in that, starting that. Keanu Reeves, man, replacement players. And you know what's funny part is, I remember, so when they first had their first game, this kind of pertains. Good job, Mike. This kind of pertains to the UCLA team. Why? Because UCLA and the replacement player, there's a scene where the players are there, they couldn't get it going, and then all of a sudden they start rolling, and one guy, he goes, now we rolling, and it kind of goes to UCLA. Now they rolling, they winning some games.
They were 0-5, and they've won 2 in a row, and they're right in the thick of it in the Pac-12 South.
Yes.
That's hilarious, right?
That is hilarious.
That is unbelievable. So great chat there with Joe, as always, on Wednesdays here, kind of breaking down what's going on with these Bruins. We talked about that Friday night game versus playing on Saturday. Kind of got a little bit of an inside look as far as Kelly and company, what they think about that. And, obviously this team is going in the right direction now. And, I mean, wow, they really have kind of turned things around here a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but for the moment here, not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad at all, man. They're doing a great job, and they're right in the thick of things, and that's where they want to be. I think Chip Kelly, he had it in his mind, like, look, I just want to be in the hunt, and that's it. If we can have our opportunity, then great, and that's a successful season for them. And look, all they can do from now is continue to build. So right now he's in the hunt, and what's even going to be even more weird is that next week he's going back to Oregon. He hasn't been there since he's left.
That's a great point.
So that I'm sure they're going to give him an ovation because, look, he's developed that program from the jump, but and ruled the Pac-10.
We wouldn't even be talking about Oregon football as much as we do if not for him being there and having the success he did.
Exactly. So, UCLA's right in the hunt, man, and the rest of these teams like USC and Stanford and Arizona State, they got to look over their shoulder a little bit, just a little bit, and acknowledge that, hey, they've beaten some team. They beat 2 good teams that have beaten, and I think it's evenly matched in the South. But also, they came close to beating the top 10 team in the country. And they almost beat them in Washington. So, but we know how you feel about Washington.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Washington,
they're still top 10.
They give a lot of teams an opportunity to get on some of a roll if you beat them or not. That's just what happens. Hey, by the way, a quick reminder, we are currently streaming live on Periscope in addition to Facebook Live, YouTube Live as well, kind of covering the gamut right now with our live online streaming. So once again, plenty of different ways to watch the show and just kicking it up a couple extra notches.
Yeah, it's been great, too. We've been great responses to that. And so, you want to make sure you follow us wherever it is. If it's on social media or if you're in the car, you make sure you turn on the radio because you never know. We have little giveaways and prizes and things that people win and stuff. And we have a event coming up tomorrow, I believe. And we do. With the Lakers and Denver's game, we had a winner. Solomon was our winner, and he will be there. And look, if you guys listen in and watch and see what's going on, you may be that Solomon. Never know.
Stay tuned because, like I said last night, we have plenty of events we're currently planning for upcoming stuff here associated with Behind the Mic, the show in general. So you always got to be listening. That's the biggest thing, right?
Yeah.
Let's get into the Lakers here for a hot second. First one of the season tonight against the Suns, and they did some good things, right? Definitely did some good things.
They definitely did some good things, but let me tell you,
man. You made a point about Josh Hart starting tonight over Caldwell Pope, and a lot of people have been calling for that.
Well, yeah, I mean, Luke Walton's finally listening to what people are saying, and I know it takes some time to find out what your lineup is. I think I would have liked to see Lance Stevenson in that lineup, but, him coming off the bench, you need that type of spark. Caldwell Pope actually played a little bit better coming off the bench. Lonzo even had a little shocking, had some sightings as well today. So it was a great game with the Lakers. I mean, Kyle Kuzma, to me, I'm going to say it again, is better than Brandon Ingram. Kyle Kuzma, to me, is the second best player on the Lakers, hands down.
I don't know who would argue against that at this point.
You can't. He is honestly.
You could make the case. Okay, it's fair to say you can make the case that Brandon Ingram still has maybe more upside.
He does.
But right now, it's not even close.
Kyle Kuzma looks to come in, man, and do damage to teams. Brandon Ingram is like one of those guys. He's a methodical guy. He comes in, he's like, hey, I'm going to play my role. And I'm not looking. He's not looking. He'll put up points, but he's not looking for that. Kyle Kuzma is like a lion, a pit bull. If you're on him and he know you're prey, he's gonna try to eat you alive. That's how he is, and that's what you need in that starting lineup. You need someone like him who's willing and looking to do damage. This guy is not afraid to any moment in the game. He's not afraid to take shots. He's not afraid to get the ball at the last second. Matter of fact, this kid wants the ball at the last second. More than, to be honest with you, LeBron wants it. LeBron's looking to make plays for you, hit the wide open guy. He's not the Kobe, but you got a Kyle Kuzma who wants the ball, and you got to look for him. So he's more comfortable with that. So, I like the lineup they had in today. They picked up the pace a little bit more speed. But this game was kind of bittersweet. Why it's bittersweet for me is because the Kobe went ahead and teased on Jimmy Kimmel that if the Lakers went 0-5, that he was going to consider to come back, or he's considering it. Now, if I don't know if that's true or not, he could have been joking around. Whatever the case may be.
It's not really true.
But
actually, maybe a small percentage within him.
Let me tell you something. A small percentage with Kobe Bryant coming back to play with this team. Look, he don't have to do much, really. He doesn't have to do much. Come in, put a couple shots up. I tell you this, it would be a full-blown Mamba mentality in that whole entire game, our whole entire team. So, I would love to see that if that ever happened. But look, he's 40 years old. He's got other things and aspirations, I believe, that he's trying to do. Not saying that 40 you can't play, but
in basketball, a little tough.
Yeah, I'm just glad that the Lakers got the win tonight. Hopefully they can build from this. Hopefully Luke Walton learned something about his team tonight and his personnel.
What do we think about Michael Beasley not playing?
He should play. Michael Beasley is a talented player in the league, and the bottom line is nobody can guard Michael Beasley one-on-one. They can't. You need to. He's a type of player where you cannot guard him one-on-one. He can give you 15 points a game. He's capable of giving you 20 a game if you let him. He is. Don't forget what he did in New York when Kristaps Porzingis was out. He was leading scorer. So. Michael Beasley is a talented player who just deserves a shot. I'm glad that he's getting his opportunity. And you learn something about your team, why Ray John's out and B.I.'s out. You start to learn things about your team. But I think that Lonzo still should be coming off the bench when even Ray John comes back. But to me, what he's doing is he's finding his niche in this game. He's finding a way like, look, I can put up some shots. Shouldn't be afraid to put up shots. I shouldn't be afraid to get aggressive, get to the hole. They're starting to learn each other. JaVale McGee's playing a lot more minutes. He's playing well. Lance Stevenson's starting to get in the sync of things. They got a team, man. Again, everybody's all concerned and worried about what the Lakers are doing right now. Listen,
no need. They're only going to get better.
They're only going to get better. I still say they're top 3 in the Western Conference, hands down. Even though they lost some games, they're still top 3. Utah is creeping up there. I don't think Utah can be that good. But the Grayson Allen over there with Mitchell.
We were doing a show on draft night, said it was a perfect fit.
Yeah, so it's going to be tough for them. And surprising, Portland is playing well, and they don't even have – they just got Damian Lillard and McCullough. But that's all they need right now. So, wow.
Yeah, let these younger guys develop. They're going to get better. Like I said, Mo Wagner, the rookie's going to get back after he returns from this knee contusion.
Yeah.
Look, there's no reason to worry at all. There was no reason to panic for the 0-3 start. Really wasn't. They're only going to get better as time moves along here. And look, Toronto's undefeated, and we all know what happens when the Toronto goes undefeated. They usually don't do anything at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So everything I think is kind of working its way out right now as far as things go. But the NBA season off and running.
It is. It's a great time, and man. Shout out to Stephen Curry, 51 on. Hey, so much for John Wall and Bradley Beal being the top in the backcourt because, man, Klay Thompson and Steph Curry just ate it up today.
And imagine if they decided not to take nights off sometimes in the regular season.
It's unfair, man.
It's crazy. Hey, great show tonight. We're back at it tomorrow. For Keith, I'm Brad. Keep living the dream.
Behind the Mic, furnished by Dalius Media.
KABC.
Los Angeles, Orange County, a Cumulus station.
Cool it down. Trump advisor on the Hill. I'm Elliot Francis. As authorities search for a bomber who mailed devices to prominent Democrats and CNN Wednesday, some lawmakers on Capitol Hill are urging both political sides to take a break. Linda Kenyon reports.
Republican John Kennedy said everyone needs to cool it down.
The president's rhetoric has been hot. There's been a lot of hot political rhetoric, frankly, on both sides.
But he said these bomb scares represent a turning point.
I'm just sorry this happened. I'm sorry for the Clintons, and I'm sorry for the Obamas, and I'm sorry for Mr. Soros and Mr. Brennan. I'm sorry for CNN. I'm sorry for America.
Democrat Jack Reed says the president must take the lead.
He can't condone, these chants of lock her up, etc. That's unpresidential.
Linda Kenyon, Washington.
George Papadopoulos, the former Trump campaign advisor who triggered the Russian investigation, makes his first appearance before congressional investigators Thursday. Robert Mueller charged Papadopoulos with lying to the FBI about his contacts with Russian intermediaries. He was sentenced in September to 2 weeks in prison. Well, the effects of a hurricane that made landfall in Mexico are expected to be seen from Texas to the northeast through the end of the week.
What was once a Category 5 hurricane is now a rain event for Texas and the Gulf Coast and expected to have winter-like qualities as it heads into the Atlantic.
So those effects will likely be large wind and rain amounts there. And we're looking at a time frame of Saturday into Sunday.
Meteorologist Juan Hernandez says snow is unlikely for big cities on the East Coast, but says it would be a big